whatever your reason is, I would never let my politics be the reason I don't show up to see my family.
I'm going to disagree. It's more of a moral issue for me. You know, you, along with Millie and along with John Kelly, warned us about how deeply flawed he was as a candidate. And so I think
I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Okay, so there are two things about this next story that is just insane. First off, The View is telling its audience to cut off pro-Trump family members during the holiday season. We're talking about Sunny Hostin, of course her, right? Secondly, ABC, who owns the show, is looking for more conservative voices to be a part of the panel. Now, let's just start here.
I wouldn't have had any holidays if I had to only pick the ones where everyone agreed with me. And so now there are times,
Max
and
wouldn't be with you.
I check in with myself and say, am I up for this? Because I also know struggling with mental health, there are times I'm not, and that's okay. You step away, but it will never be the defining point because toxic personalities don't have political affiliations. It's a personality trait that sucks, and we all are related to people like that. So whatever your reason is, I would never let my politics be the reason I don't show up to see my family because they won't always be there.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, hold on. Before we hear her deranged response, did you notice how Sarah looked at Sunny when she made the comment that it's a toxic personality who would do something like this? I found that to be funny. Let's continue.
I completely understand her point because I really do feel that this candidate, President-elect Trump, is just a different type of candidate. From the things he's said and the things he's done and the things he will do, it's more of a moral issue for me. And I think it's more of a moral issue for other people. We're just, I would say it was different when, let's say, Bush got elected. You know, you may not have agreed with his policies, but you didn't feel like he was a deeply flawed person, deeply flawed by character, deeply flawed in morality.
I think a lot of Dems called him deeply flawed and
time.
humanized him.
But you got to admit, they're very different figures. I mean, you along with Millie and along with John Kelly warned us about how deeply flawed he was as a candidate. And so I think when people feel that someone voted not only against their families, but against them and against people that they loved, I think it's okay to take a beat.
Okay, so three things for you. Number one, this is why we live in a divisive country now. Sunny Hostin has that personality that holds on to grudges and can't see the bigger picture and also be the bigger person in a particular situation. Now, I don't know if she's really like this behind closed doors. I just know what she shows us on TV. And she shows us on TV how toxic, hateful, and angry she is as a person. So clearly don't take her advice. Number two, she sounds as if she's painting the pro-Trump family members as Trump himself. I mean, that's the tone that she takes, as if I was her son and I voted for Trump, she's looking at me as if I am Trump. And thirdly, I mean, if you're going to continue to go into that he's such a deeply flawed individual, you almost sound as if you are a saint yourself, that you're not deeply flawed as well. Meaning you become the very thing that you're accusing him of being in the way that you attack him. Now, before we get to that ABC announcement about the show, there was another comment made by Whoopi Goldberg that was off the wall and continued to show if the Democratic Party thinks this way, they will continue to lose elections. Check this out.
I'm sorry. When you have one candidate who has been running for 12 years, who lies and changes things, I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person, And my kid has to feed her family, and my great-granddaughter has to be fed by her family. I know it's hard out there, but I also know that there are a lot of things that we just said, no, I'm just going to go this way.
Right.
And a lot of that is also what happened. I love what she did. Yay. We talk to people all the time who say, this is what's bothering me. But the thing that's bothering everybody should not be the thing that puts 85% of other people in danger.
Okay, so before I even respond to how ridiculous that is, if you're getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop the merch store, or buy us a cup of coffee, okay? Now, Whoopi Goldberg, come on. Why don't you get it? I mean, this is why the Democratic Party has failed to connect with voters. Is first, they come off as if they know better than them. They are better than them, you know, but they say that we understand your plight. No, you don't, okay? And secondly, when you're saying, well, I'm struggling too. If I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't be doing this job. Interesting. Okay, so that is confirmation that you actually understand what's happening with the working class in today's America. Listen, whatever policies Joe Biden passed, it didn't really impact you, Whoopi. It impacts the people who are truly working a 9-to-5, multiple kids. Some of them are single parents. Some of them can barely get by. They're falling behind. Electricity costs have tripled. Rent has tripled. Interest rates are killing them. Gas prices, vehicle registration, car insurance, medical insurance, everything across the board has increased. And you're on a TV show talking about, yeah, I understand. It's hurting me too. And again, all this is going to do is alienate more people instead of bringing people together. I find it funny that they want unity. They want to move forward, but they continue to talk like this. Okay, so this is being reported by the New York Post and other outlets out there, but this was yesterday. ABC brass scrambled to bring in pro-Trump voices to The View and other shows, meaning they're in a panic mode right now, right? ABC News brass are in a panic mode as they hunt for conservative voices to balance the rapid, that's what I would call it, anti-Trump rhetoric spewed by the hosts on The View as well as those on other shows, the Post has learned. Oh, so Alyssa isn't doing it for you, right? I thought she was a conservative. She served in the first Trump administration. Isn't she good enough? Of course she's not. The Disney-owned network, which came under fire over how ABC News moderators grilled Donald Trump during the presidential debate against Vice President Kamala Harris, has been holding high-level meetings since last week's rout by the former president. Sources close to the situation told the Post. Okay, just being fair here, right? Common sense. What sources? Right? All of these outlets, I mean, they are laughable when they use that. Sources, anonymous sources, right? Okay, so are you guys making it up? I mean, who are they exactly? But anyways, that's a whole nother thing. First on the agenda, according to one insider, is finding a pro-Trump panelist for its top-ranked daytime talk show co-host by ultra-liberals Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sonny and Sarah, as well as Republican Trump bashers Anna Navarro and Elisa Griffin. I find it funny they put Republican Trump bashers. Now, understand something. One of the key bombshells of this election loss was Jen Psaki coming out and saying, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be catering to never Trumpers if we're trying to win an election. I think that's where that term is coming from. The View is facing pressure from higher ups. Viewers can expect some major changes, including bringing in new panelists that can bring in a pro-Trump perspective. Now, why would they want to do something like that? I think it's because of ratings. I mean, they've been speaking this way for years. What changed? I mean, do I really believe the top executives truly believe in Trump and they want Trump to have a voice on this show? No. It's about money to these people. And probably what they're seeing is there is money to bring on someone on that show that can truly be the polar opposite of these ladies, because Alyssa is not the polar opposite. Okay, so let's see what people are saying on X. Megan McCain says, respectfully, please stop sending me clips from The View. It's a radical, progressive, insane asylum, and that is why I left years ago. How about this one from Adam Carella? The View only exists so that people can make fun of it. I second that. Okay, so here's a good one from Amala, right? She puts, about 3 years ago, I interviewed to be a conservative voice on The View. Based on the questions they asked, it seemed they were looking for a lukewarm conservative who would provide just enough pushback to be considered different from the other women, but not enough to make waves. I hope that has changed, right? That is who Alyssa Griffin is. I mean, she doesn't really provide pushback whatsoever. The rabbit hole puts, cutting off loved ones over politics is cult behavior. I don't care what your views are. Don't ruin your relationships over politicians who don't even know your name. Bingo. Okay, so here's the Babylon Bee. To improve trustworthiness of the host, The View to replace Whoopi Goldberg with Alex Jones. I mean, isn't that the smart thing to do? Okay, so question for you. Who do you think should be on that show? Like, if you're going to bring in a pro-Trump or more of a legitimate conservative on that panel, what name comes to your mind? Drop it in the comments section below. Now, I don't think it matters who you bring. I think that show is dead on arrival, right? I just don't see the value in that show unless they do this. That you can only have 4 people. 2 are the ultra liberals and 2 are the pro-Trump conservatives. Bingo, do it that way. Because at least it's fair. The problem that I have with a lot of these media outlets and some of these shows as well, it's unbalanced. I mean, if you look at CNN, for example, they'll have 1 conservative, but 3 liberals. Or MSDNC, where there's no conservatives, right? Or ABC, CBS, no conservatives whatsoever. In fact, the only media outlet that I see that actually tries to keep it balanced would be News Nation. But in the end, I'm not too sure this is going to help, because when you have this type of rhetoric that these ladies have been spewing on that show, and then you see Trump shaking hands with Joe Biden in the White House laughing, it kind of nixes that entire argument in the butt, right? Like, as in, you guys had been saying he was a threat to democracy. He was the biggest threat in history. He's the next Hitler. But then he's in the White House and everybody's celebrating his return. Make it make sense. I don't think they can. So that is my opinion. What do you guys think about these crazy stories from The View today? Telling their audience to cut off their family because they support Trump or they voted for Trump. I guess we couldn't expect anything less from Sunny Hostin. What is your message to her? Put that in the comment section. And then what do you think about the concept of ABC trying to look for new hosts to balance out the panel? Let me know what your thoughts are about that as well. Now, there was a major announcement from Trump yesterday when he nominated Tulsi Gabbard to be the next director of national intelligence. Well, there was a particular individual who didn't take it very well, and that was John Bolton. He completely loses it. And if you want to see me react to that story, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.